Hello and welcome back to These Blind Eyes 6580. Today I'm going to talk about the truth behind the push for gun control. And that is the government does not want gun control. They do not want to take our weapons away from us. So, why do I say this? I say this because ever since Obama has come into office and started talking about gun control, gun sales, I think there's been like over 170 million gun sales in this country. So I mean, over the past 6 7 years, 170 million guns in this country alone. Lord only knows how much ammunition. Every time, and this is a statistical fact. This is statistically proven. Every time the government talks about gun control, people go out and stock up on more guns and more ammunition out of fear that they're going to pass something that takes away the right to buy guns. That's the little game that's played. But whatever happens, you know, when was the last bill you heard proposed to the House in regard to gun control? I Ever since they've been talking about it, I haven't heard of one. You know, and if there is one, it's been mentioned in passing. I mean, nothing's getting done. There's hundreds of reasons why the government, hundreds of theories why the government would want to stockpile weapons. I mean, you could sit and come up with them all day long. One of the ones that I personally think why they would want us stockpiling, they've been pissing off a lot of countries lately. China, Russia, they're not as technologically behind us as a lot of Americans think. I mean, they're not too far off from us in regard to, say, their air forces, and they definitely got the manpower, to, if they couldn't take us over, they could bloody our nose. That's for damn sure. So think about the fact that when Obama was in Alaska renaming a freaking mountain, there was 5 Chinese warships off the coast of Alaska doing patrols. Think about the fact at that same time, there was a Russian spy ship off our east coast on the way down to Cuba. And at that same time, I haven't personally heard the two connected, but to me it just kind of makes sense that they'd be connected. The TSA, I believe it was, put out a report warning airline pilots in the southeast, like Georgia, Florida, states down there, that they were going to have to ignore radar warnings, like different warning signals that came up on their radar. To me, it's easy to tie those two together. The Russian spy ship either jamming our radar signals or creating false signals. It's not too far off to think that, for myself anyway. But the fact is, we got nations that are getting pissed at us, and they're getting more and more bold to see what we're going to do. Like I said, China with its warships off the coast of Alaska, Russia with its spy ship down by Cuba, going to Cuba off our east coast. Think about the fact that during Iraqi freedom, when we were using them satellite guided missiles, Russia was in Baghdad as advisors testing out their satellite signal jamming equipment, seeing how it performed against our satellite guided missiles. So they're getting more and more bold, and Obama keeps pissing more and more people off. So the idea of us going to a huge war with China and Russia is not too far fetched as far as I'm concerned. And so what can help? Make sure the American population is heavily armed. How do you do that? Talk about the need for gun control. Like I said, over 170 million guns since 2009. That's an insane amount of weapons, and it's just more and more every time they mention gun control. They just keep skyrocketing. So whether you agree with that theory in regard to Russia and China and the possibility of war or not, or you have another theory, or you just think I'm full of shit, whichever, the fact is, if they wanted gun control, they'd have it. They do everything else illegally in this country when it comes to the government. The war in Syria, that got started illegally while Congress was out at recess. Obama illegally started that war, okayed the bombing and stuff, illegally overthrew Gaddafi we're supposed to be fighting terrorists and we're backing terrorists. I mean, it was Al Qaeda and the Muslim Brotherhood that went in that we backed in Libya, and now we're backing ISIS in different parts of the world too, over in the Middle East. So our government's doing a lot of illegal crap. So don't think for 1 minute if they wanted our guns, they'd come take them, or they wouldn't, because they would. They'd come take them in a heartbeat. They want to stockpiled for a reason. So that's my take on it. I hope you like the video. If you don't agree with it, hey, feel free to voice your comments. You know, I don't really care. I'm not going to take them off my page because you disagree. Feel free to comment. Send me an email directly if you'd rather. littlemb6580@gmail.com. That's LITTLE, M as in Mike, B as in Bravo, 6580 @gmail.com. Until next time.